Today, PayPal announced that they will support cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and others. Big news for the crypto space for us. Very interesting. I think we need to start looking more seriously at the payment system providers. They look like a disruptive technology that could fit into our portfolio. This is a Not Even Wrong podcast. It's October 21st, 2020. This is Krim Delco. For the day, the fund is down 2.5%. The market's down 20 basis points. For the year, we're up 206%. The market is up 6.5%. We're outperforming by 199.5%. So today, PayPal announced that they will support cryptocurrencies in various levels throughout their platform. First, they will enable people to buy them as an investment, and then further on, they will allow their network of merchants to accept them. So basically, they will allow commerce to happen on the PayPal platform. Now, this has all the writings of a disruptive innovation with large impact, so it has to fit potentially in our portfolio, and we have to think really hard about this. So far, we've been absolutely against investing in something like Bitcoin because it's a speculative asset like gold or real estate in Miami. It just has value because other people believe it has value. There's no economic value added by the asset itself. So for us, this is not very interesting. However, the cryptocurrency concept is a very interesting idea. Smart contracts based on algorithms, based on software, are much better than the legal system that we have today. The one caveat is that smart contracts cannot be enforced with guns. The legal system can. Now, to be honest, if we thought that the only reason we believe in our legal system is because it can be enforced with guns, we wouldn't be living in San Francisco right now. We'd be living somewhere in the woods in Montana or Alaska and with guns. So what I'm trying to say is that, of course, we don't want to go that far, that any kind of system that we believe in has to be enforceable with guns. In other words, we believe that in order for society to function in a progressive way, it's enough to have an algorithm that works. And if that algorithm is based on a real algorithm versus lawyers and courts and politics, then that could be more efficient. And this is the key ingredient of cryptocurrencies, that as smart contracts, they could be more efficient, not just for commerce, but for many other things. Now, let's just talk about commerce. We believe that PayPal and Square are two interesting stocks because they are in the payment space, but they really aren't in the payment space. They are in the commerce space. They're building a platform for commerce, both of them. Square from scratch, 0 to 1. PayPal kind of as an older technology company, more traditionally building software innovations and tools and all that on top of what they already have, which is a big chunk of eBay trading and then other things on top of that. So they're more like Microsoft in that sense. Square is the real disruptor here. Square started with organic farmers markets and now is turning into a financial services company. But the key with both of these companies is that they are building a platform for commerce. Commerce is the voluntary transaction of goods and services between people, and that has a lot of aspects: money, payment, credit, invoicing, trust, a lot of things. Commerce is a very complex system which has evolved over centuries, and we believe that there is a good chance that somebody like Square will take a chunk of that and algorithmatize it, and of course then also be able to extract value from doing that. We believe that a company like Square and PayPal, but particularly Square, has the potential to create a lot more value than they extract, but still be a very valuable company. So the question now is, why aren't we invested in Square? I think the main reason that we are reluctant is actually the leadership. Jack Dorsey has been proven as a very good 0 to 1 builder, but not necessarily a 1 to N builder. Does he have the capability to move Square from 50, 60, 70 billion to 500 billion? Can he really become an Elon Musk, a Jeff Bezos? I don't know. That's the main question. And thinking out loud here, and this is part of the reason of this episode, is that we believe that there are certain caveats that we have to put in. One is with Square, the leadership, with PayPal, it's an older technology company. Nevertheless, the idea of cryptocurrencies as a whole being a platform on which a new type of commerce can be built, for example, a commerce where you get instant access to money, instant access to credit, instant access to pretty much anything, the same way you get instant access today to YouTube videos or books on Kindle or things like that. You can also get, of course, a refusal of credit and all that stuff. So I'm not saying everything is much easier. And the one thing that I've always been questioning about any kind of sort of fintech company is that you cannot just by using technology make, let's say, access to credit easier than it was before. And maybe I was wrong about that, in a sense that there's a certain chunk of people who actually is credit worthy but doesn't fit into the current system. So there is the potential for Square to really fulfill its mission to offer more access for commerce to more people. I haven't been in that position myself yet, and maybe I haven't even noticed that I've been maybe also discriminated against by, let's say, not having access to certain types of credit, not certain types of maybe even commerce opportunities because I don't fit a certain profile. But of course, in my economic position, I'm much more privileged than many other people who maybe don't have access to any kind of credit or things like bank accounts and things like that. So in that sense, it's possible that I am missing out on this opportunity simply because I don't see the value that somebody like Square is offering for people that haven't been privileged enough to have access to commerce. Nevertheless, end of story here. The actual conclusion is that we're looking at the same way. If we look at a company like Tesla, we're saying Tesla is the main driver for a decarbonized energy infrastructure. End of story. The trillions of dollars of market value that can be captured. Some of it will go to Tesla, some of it will not, but there's a lot of market value here. These are new markets. A decarbonized energy market doesn't even exist yet. It's even now it's still small. So there's a tremendous amount of disruptive opportunity. On the Square side, what are we really looking at? We're looking at commerce based on smart contracts. What does that mean? That means that we have a lot easier access to money, credit, a more efficient problem solving between social parties, business parties. If something's not clear, well, it's algorithmic. So if I buy something on credit and I don't pay, there is an algorithm that makes sure that whatever happens afterwards happens, and there is a lot less need for lawyers for all this messy stuff that we have right now. People talk about marriages, prenups, all that stuff being written in some sort of cryptocurrency context. The problem I have with that is I can't envision necessarily a world like that. I've listened to many smart people talk about this. For example, Marc Andreessen compares it to the internet. So it's a liberating distributed network that allows a lot more applications built on top of this particular network. We're seeing a lot of fraud, unfortunately, in the beginning of this, but that's normal. Even in the internet, that happened. Even when PayPal started, they had lots of fraud, according to the founders like Peter Thiel. So there's a lot of interesting analogies, but if there's one thing we've learned as investors and the principle that we follow also based on Peter Thiel's book 0 to 1, we don't follow analogies. It's also a principle that we're getting from David Deutsch's book, The Beginning of Infinity, which is you cannot deduct knowledge from induction. So, but because you saw something, you can't infer anything from there. It doesn't mean it's true. It just because you see something doesn't mean it's true. So analogy is not a good base for arguing or conjecturing about the future. So let's not argue about analogy. Let's just think about cryptocurrencies as a base for smart contracts on which commerce can be built. And then there are companies like Square and PayPal, which are in the business of trying to algorithmize this into the current world of commerce and build a new type of world of commerce on top of it. Maybe that is the potential, that is the opportunity. And we're looking at a potential of 10x in the next 5 to 10 years. We still have to think about it's a potential idea. This is a very important episode because not often do we have ideas that are on the brink of becoming investment opportunities for us. This is a good example of an idea that we're discussing deeply. I've once tweeted that it takes me a split second to understand if an investment is a good investment or not. Now this one, it's not taking me a split second, it's taking me much longer, which could be a deal killer, because that means I'm not really sure. If I'm not really sure, it's a little bit like marrying a girl or dating a girl. If you're not really sure, then maybe you shouldn't do it. It's just that my gut feelings telling me maybe this is not the right thing. And I feel like the problem with that is that I have a bad connotation with Bitcoin because it's being used by freaks, criminals. But I shouldn't judge the concept of smart contracts and algorithmized commerce based on the fact that a few bad actors are using these platforms for bad things, because there's a lot of other things you can do which are good things. And the internet was also used for bad things in the beginning, and it's still being used for bad things. The banking system, Wall Street, is being used for bad things. We're still using it. So we can use something that bad actors are misusing and still make a lot of money and create a lot of wealth and create a lot of large impact for society with it. So our fund, Orange Capital Partners, is contemplating investing in PayPal and Square as a basket for the idea of an algorithmized commerce based on cryptocurrencies and smart contracts. Thank you.